know what it is. I don't care.
Say what?
I said good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I don't know what it is, and I don't care.
Okay. Sounds reasonable.
Yep.
It appears to be evening-ish around here. Did you say evening-ish? Andrea is here. I guess
Hey,
she's.
Samir.
Hey, hey Dan, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Good to see you.
Me
Who
too.
else?
Hello. Hey, you guys are glitching out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we pixelating?
Yeah, Samir, do you see them?
I can see you quite clearly, but
Yeah, Gary's like frozen.
Whoops. Woo. You don't see anything? No?
No. I mean, okay, now it's better.
Okay. Well, I'm on my phone's internet. I'm using it as a hotspot, so if the connection's
Okay.
a little funky, that's why. And trying to think if I need to send anyone else an email link or not. Omar should be fine. Derek, I don't even remember what Derek's email is. So anyway, you guys can go ahead. I'm gonna actually take a bit of a backseat today in terms of conversing. So if you guys want to take the show, go for it.
What do you want to talk about, Samir?
And we're only going for 45 minutes this time. We're also at this planet conjunctivitis deal, right? All the planets are filling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, no, it's funny you say that, Gary, because I was planning to take a back seat as well. I was a bit tired. I didn't really know what to talk about, but I'm sure Daniel, if you say what's been on your mind, it might stir something in me. But
Well, it's been a really crazy and weird last couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys read on Facebook that massive flood in the basement at building 9110.
Yeah.
And it flooded 3 stories or like 2 stories of a parking garage, flooded Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all that.
That's
Yeah.
the place that you're patrolling at.
Yeah. One of the dozens and dozens of buildings of all buildings that had to be 9110.
Does that number have
And in
significance
addition
to
to
you?
that, we had alarms going off inexplicably every day, exactly at 9 in the morning, at building 9110 on the 5th floor, every single day. For the maintenance could not figure out the reason why.
and it was Lamborghinis and Ferraris being flooded, huh?
It's a rich complex, relatively, so a lot of nice cars were flooded. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
because it seems to me like this is maybe a changeover. Okay, I know what I can talk to you guys about, and this was fascinating. So basically, when you've lived your life in a somewhat different way than most, you end up sparking synchronicities to occur. And this was during Christmas, my birthday, and New Year. And it was amazing. So I watched 3 films with my mother. The first one was called The International. In it, there was these 3 letters. It was BCCI, all right? And the theme in the film was financial corruption. And basically, the end story, the moral to the film, it ends up with a dead banker. He gets shot in the head by an Italian mafioso. And the banker, before he dies, says, "Look, you can kill me, but there's just going to be somebody else to take my place." Okay, so that was the theme. It was financial corruption, and that murder wasn't going to solve it because the problem was systemic.
Right.
Then the second film, it had BCI in it, and it was Scrooged with Bill Murray. And in Scrooged, that's about moral and spiritual and philosophical corruption, and runs through like, if killing the person isn't the solution, it is a spiritual transformation that literally needs God or some other higher force to actually conduct like a divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good, funny film, Scrooged, with Bill Murray. So that was the second film with those letters in it. Then we watched a third film, and it was Jumanji, like the next level, and it had one of the guys wearing a red beanie, and it had BCI on it. Okay, so this was like the letters running through all three films, and in Jumanji, this is where Og Tellez and Robert Brown come in. And Jumanji, the game was broken. It had a corruption inside it that was like Watiki, the Watiki virus. And the Watiki virus, it started off in the film in Europe and spread to the new lands, presumably the United States. And the code in the film was that the only way to defeat this corruption in the game was to gain this fruit, the Jumanji fruit. Interestingly enough, to gain this Jumanji fruit, you had to travail across some water. You fell in the water, and then once you had the fruit, you'd fall in the water, you'd come out, and when you touched somebody else, you'd go into their body. All right? And that is where empathy comes from, is walking a mile in somebody else's shoes. You see?
That game turns into...
And that's how you get the Jumanji fruit. Okay? And that's empathy is gained from being in the shoes of another person. This is like what God or something was trying to tell me was the solution to our issue. And so they fight the king of this corruption, and they lose. Their best fighter loses. And he realizes he's got the Jumanji fruit on him, and he squeezes it and hits the king of the corruption over his chest, on the left side of his chest, over his heart. And my studies before was that the weakness to the Watiki, you can't fight it and beat it because it's stronger than us. But its weakness, that this is what this guy was saying, I can send you the videos, the weakness to the Watiki is empathy. Empathy and love weakens it. And so the Jumanji fruit gained through walking a mile in somebody else's shoes, once splayed over the chest of the king of the corruption, made him weak enough to defeat. So that was like the three films with the three letters spreading across all three films. One was financial corruption, the other one was spiritual, moral, and physical corruption. Philosophical corruption, which required divine intervention. The third was empathy was required. And then this gets to the part again, which Og and Robert Brown have been talking about, was in the end of the film, in Jumanji, all right, they show that the corruption is ostriches from the game running down the street in the real world, which shows that the corruption from the game has spilled out into our world now, which is what has been talked about. That the machines that we've been using and so on, they've gained a corruption, and that corruption has now come through into our world. And that, to me, was what I was being told is taking place.
It turned into the Monopoly game. The Monopoly board, you keep going around and round on the Monopoly board, going nowhere. Gaining trivial things, but not anything of substance. But I think what's interesting with the Mandela effect and how it affected the Monopoly board is the guy's monocle is missing. Well, everyone remembers having that eye.
Is it really?
And I think that has to do with this year, 2020. So he has the missing monocle because now he can see clearly. I think it's code. Yeah.
I hadn't heard of that one.
That's a brilliant.
I just made it up. I'm serious. No,
it sounds about right, Daniel.
Yeah.
It sounds about right.
Is the guy missing his monocle, or no? You made that part up too.
No. That's a real Mandela effect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been around for a while. Like everyone remembers him wearing a monocle.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't have one.
Did you guys hear about the
You guys-
Bambis and her stripes, or her spots are stripes now instead of spots?
Wait, what?
Bambi,
Bambi.
the
Yeah.
deer.
Bambi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, she's got no stripes now?
No, they're stripes instead of spots. They're like squarish stripes.
Yeah, I remember spots.
Yeah, they're rectangles.
Instead of circles.
They're rectangles now, huh?
Interesting. I gotta look at that.
What's up, Derek? You made it.
Let's go, guys.
Hey.
It's going. Who are we missing? We're missing Omar. Omar and Fabian. Oh, what's his name? Supposed to be here too. The new guy. Jimmy. Where's Jimmy? How are you doing, Ren?
I've had better days, but I'm okay.
Yeah,
Today's not such a bad day.
better days. We've had better
I was
days
talking
too, eh?
I was talking to Daniel a couple of days ago, and I'd had I've been having panic attacks. I think Thursday was the worst one I've ever had, and it was really bad.
When was that?
Thursday.
This Thursday, I think it probably started about 11 o'clock at night, and it's very difficult to explain. It's almost like, when you've had a really bad weed high.
Yes.
Weed high?
Exactly. Yeah, that's most people.
I could, I just ended up in this ridiculous loop, and I went to a really, really, really dark place.
Wait, were you taking some substance? Is that what you said?
No. But that's what it reminded me of.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, Rin, I've had that. It's, my panic attack is a very dark place as well. It's a good thing. It's, sort of clearing out some of the, some of the garbage, I think. Some of the toxic, feelings and emotions that, hello? There's
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
wrong
I
with my
keep
phone.
hearing something too.
The connection's funky. There's some sort of feedback going on.
To me, it really freaked me out because it's not. I've always suffered with anxiety since I was young. Still.
What does this do? Oh,
Right.
But this
Okay,
was
so
something
looking
else, and it
That's what I'm saying. Last week,
it
me too.
freaked
This
me
is
out,
something
Daniel.
else.
No, this, I was like, this isn't all me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, Rin, tell us about it. It might help.
It felt artificial, Samir. That's the problem.
Yes, it does feel artificial.
It was a whole host of things. For me, I don't like dwelling in the past, but a lot of stuff from my past has been coming
Yes.
up. And then Thursday, it was all to do with regret.
Yeah.
It was like, I thought you've dealt with all this stuff, and there's a whole host of other things as well, but that's where it's from, and it just spiraled out of control. And my reaction was not in reaction to, the thoughts going through my mind, and it was nuts. It was crazy. Yeah, it got really bad.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out, and I thought, something's right.
how long did it last
Did you
then?
see things? Did you? Right.
No, I wasn't dreaming. My eyes were open. I couldn't, just restless. I just wasn't into anything. I actually got into bed thinking that, maybe I'll be able to relax. Nothing worked. It was bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody with you? Did you have any support or
No.
emotional support?
Yeah, my kids were around, and I did speak to my daughter. But it was.
How long did it last?
Still having difficulty.
All night?
It started around 11 o'clock, but at 1 a.m. in the morning, I was still awake. Still, probably wondering. I'm struggling to still process it.
Yeah.
And I was in two minds about coming on the call, and I thought, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's a ton of background noise. You guys mind speaking a little bit louder? I can't hear you guys very well. I'm sorry.
His head. I like your hat, Derek.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think Derek's noise
Rin.
might be a bit. Derek, could you try muting your sound for a minute and see if that helps the sound? What we can
Yeah,
do.
let me turn my sound off here.
Yeah, make sure it's safe.
Before listening to talking.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
It
do
is
this.
a cool hat.
it's a nice hat. Yeah, but if we're having feedback noise, you can always mute yourself unless you're actually talking, and then that makes the background noise not be coming through while you're not speaking.
Yeah, Rin, I think bringing up what you went through is affecting the electronics because that's what part of this thing is it's electronic in nature, you know, and it's seems to me like to be from another dimension as well. So, hello? My whole screen's gone black, and it's
We can see you and hear you.
We can still see you.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, that's that's better. Because I can tell you my experience, and then it might sort of jog what you went through. I've mentioned this once or twice before. It was so on one of them, I was shown basically the future of this thing that's been bothering us. Basically, this multidimensional alien takeover of human consciousness, and it showed itself to me. It was like an octopus, a metallic octopus that was alive, and I could see it in like there were stars behind it in space, and God explained to me like how it was defeated, and it was defeated because our hearts, our compassion, our love, it attaches us to all love, all kindness, and all compassion for all time. So it's simultaneous, it's a simultaneity.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't require time in order to function, but intelligence does. Intelligence eats through time, and time is its substance for its computation. So what I was shown to defeat this thing that's been harassing us was that we move ourselves into a more heart-based, kind and compassionate existence, and live more of our life and develop more of our character and personality through that heart-based component. And when enough of our character is then on the other side, God starts removing the time, because this evil thing, as smart as it is, it's got no compassion, it's got no connection to the simultaneity like we do. It requires the time, and when God removes the time, it's like it's frozen. I saw during these panic attacks, it's frozen there in time, and I couldn't do anything. And I think part of the issue that we've got here now is maybe God, is trying to show us that our problems will not be solved through intelligence, you know,
Yeah.
because no matter what we do, we're not going to be smart enough to defeat this thing. How it works is that we use our heart intelligence, our kindness, and our compassion, self-discipline, and self-awareness, and work with the heart. And then when the time starts getting changed, it won't affect us in the same way it affects this computational virus. Does that make sense to you, Rin?
Otherwise, we'll merge with it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, well,
We brought in, who I believe, because I had a vision too during the panic attack, and it was the Dark Pharaoh that probably brought in this octopus when he corrupted the power of the pyramids. So that's kind of the type of.
Oh, so you saw an octopus as well?
Him? Yeah, he could be part of it. I don't know, but it was absolutely terrifying. He had like serpent eyes that looked like snakes, and he was doing some kind of ritual. And I don't know if it meant anything. I know, like, it wasn't like something that I was just thinking about. It just like like zoomed into my mind like
Yeah.
a million miles an hour. I was like, what the hell was that?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's why I've been talking about Aladdin lately. We could be dealing with some kind of genie with magical power, like literally.
Yeah, definitely. This is what I'm thinking. So during the course of so I'll tell people my method of research and how I confirm things isn't merely through an intellectual basis. It comes from a multitude of sources: intuition, gut, heart, mind, and this prayer, which is, please show me the truth, no matter how it makes me feel. So be it, so it is. I say that 3 times, and then the synchronicities kick in, like from those films, one film after another, they all had the BCCI or the IBC or the BC or the BCC, and then it's reading the books, the intuition, heart-based knowing, and then the simultaneous or synchronistic films all showing coming to one point. And then I'm like, yeah, this now I can probably see as something that's actually being true. It's not, I don't just read a book or speak to some stranger on a train or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a multitude of things all coming at me, and it solidifies into one sort of general concept of what it is that's going on, and then I relate that over to others as you know I don't just make this stuff up. I relate over to others through those multiple sources and this and everything else. So that's my method of research, and it works gangbusters. But the problem is that you also start getting a lot more attention from not just from the good guys. The good guys are great, but from the less savory elements as well. So I'm all about fully informed consent. So I'm letting people know if they decide to follow that sort of research method I just outlined, they're likely to get attention. Guys as well.
Yeah.
Hello?
We're trying to.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. I hear
Oh,
you.
no, it's just, yeah.
It's not working.
Oh, I think you're. It's okay.
Techno gremlins, as Aurora would call them, or it. Oh, just like that. You were using the compute. Are we still here? We're still all right. We're alive still. Hey. Omar is here, right? I see Omar's corner of his room.
Hi, Omar.
Hey,
Daniel.
We got the corner and the shadow.
And the man.
And there's the man himself. All right. We're doing a short one today. Circumstances have us running around, so we don't have a lot of time to devote today, but we wanted to.
Yeah, the electronics are going crazy, man.
His mic is picking up car sounds.
I think
That's probably mine. I was gonna talk, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna listen.
if you're just gonna listen, could you mute?
I mean,
There you go. He
not
did
to,
it.
not to say shut up, but there's a mute button that'll make that stop.
He did. He muted himself.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Dr. Beans, how are you?
It's
Good to
always gonna be the same thing. I'm always good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
I like your beanie.
You like my beanie? Thanks,
Oh,
man.
Omar.
Yeah, it was inspired by Gary.
Omar, you need to share your.
What's the tag say?
My tag? I don't know.
You don't know? Go look in the mirror. See if you can read reverse.
Buff, I think.
Oh, I like it.
Thanks.
You got
Gary,
drama
what'd
to
you say?
share? You got drama to share, Omar?
Gary, you
Hello?
sound like an android. I can't hear you. It's like.
I could confirm that Dr. Beans is in fact correct. It sounds like, a
Yeah, your
doctor.
connection is just whack, Gary. It's just
Okay.
not working.
We can just stay quiet.
Well, we can shut up and you guys can talk. That's fine.
Hello?
Can you still not hear us at all? No? No sound? No nothing?
We heard that.
Oh,
At least we
Yeah.
heard that.
we said
Yeah.
we'll be
That
quiet.
worked
You
out
guys
okay.
can.
No, we
chat.
just wanted to ask Omar to share his Facebook drama.
Alright, so,
That's all. What
Yeah, I
happened?
don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but a lot of the problems that we have with tech are because people are trying to offer free services and they suck.
hello?
Yeah, we're broke. So,
Not really. Just
Kind of.
for the moment.
We
Hello?
want Omar to what?
we want Omar to share
Yeah, Gary,
Facebook
you sound
drama.
like, I don't know, a T-1000 speaking from the future or something.
Or like a battery that's dying.
Well, you
Yeah,
better...
battery that's
Very,
dying.
very different things.
You
It,
better-
it sounds like when you have your phone on and you call and the last three
We
words
can
are
put
like,
it in the chat.
Yeah,
Type it.
or like you're underwater.
Okay.
Andrea, does your phone have more battery?
No, we don't do that.
It's not really the battery that's the problem. I don't think.
What?
Yeah, Omar, share with us.
Omar.
Oh, I see Gary says hi.
Share.
Okay, so I can't hear what he said and I can't hear what you guys want me to do.
It's coming.
Share
Oh no, we're
Facebook
saying, can
drama,
you share
please.
with us? Omar, tell us the story.
Oh, well, I just made coffee and it's pretty dark. You can't see through it, but well, I woke up and my account was blocked, and it doesn't matter. Somebody got salty and did something. I don't know who it was. Don't care.
The salty turd.
Wait, for which website, Omar?
Facebook.
Really?
And I
Wow.
woke up and I had to verify my account. I thought it was pretty funny.
Huh.
Yeah, I tell you, these guys are getting pretty redundant with their tactics at this point. It's very repetitive, and I had a huge breakthrough actually yesterday when, I've got evil and its tactics down completely.
Shoot. But after he says he's got evil and his tactics down, it's like,
no.
no,
No,
you
you
don't. Nuh-uh. Not by a long shot there, buddy boy.
Oh man.
It might flip back. It's no worky because we don't have good internet because of circumstances.
Is this live on Facebook too?
It's,
It's a pity you joined a bit late because we
it's
we
done
had
now.
there was quite a few interesting things that we were talking about earlier. Me and Daniel and Gary. That sounds like a robot at this point.
Well, fill me in. I was cleaning my kitchen and it was 1:40 when I started, and then I looked and it was 2:20, and then I came back here.
Do I still sound like
Alright,
a robot
well,
or you guys can hear me?
Gary, you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Sorry, what?
Now we can hear you. Samir, just summarize what happened.
All right, I'll summarize what happened. Okay, so basically, what I was going through was Rin was talking about her panic attack, which seemed to have been stimulated through external means, and brought up, say, previous life regrets and other things that, like I said, it seemed to be being externally stimulated through highly advanced technology that human beings apparently don't have at this point. Myself and Daniel also confirmed that we had similar symptoms to that. I then went on and relayed my method of research, which involved heart, mind, gut, and
I'm synced up, and I didn't miss anything because I heard all that.
combined with synchronicities. But you'd like this part. It was
Minus the anxiety stuff. I didn't hear that, so thank you.
okay. So, and then the 3 films that I watched, this was amazing. The first one was called The International. It was, the main theme there was about financial corruption and about how it's a systemic issue, and that an Italian mafiosi killing the banker at the end isn't going to work, because as the banker points out, he said that you kill me, there's going to be many others to take my place. The next film I watched, this is between Christmas, my birthday, and New Year, the next film I watched was Scrooged with Bill Murray. It had BCI on it. You know,
that's a great film.
It is a great film. In it, again, you have the corruption, and the only sort of
Yeah.
financial. The second was spiritual and moral corruption. The third
Wah. Wee.
involved a kind of technological corruption, in which in this film they go into the game and it's broken. There's a kind of there's the king of the corruption. He sweeps through the land. It starts in Europe, moving forward through. How did I know this was going to happen? Now? Hello? Yeah?
We're still here. Loudly crying face. This is like a silent mystery room now. Who knows what's going on? We can't see anybody now.
I thought you were joking. Okay, I won't.
It's kind of exciting.
Okay, so you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabian and I had a really nice chat last night
I didn't take any money from the till. He gave me the.
In the Uncoiled chat room. He was able to get the IRC Cloud app, no problem.
Nice.
What thing off? No, I was actually on the phone with other
We
people.
ended up talking about cats and cannabis and cooking coffee beans with a magnifying glass and a whole bunch of weird things, but it was good. And Jimmy got on, and then he started pulling his beard out and went to sleep. I guess it was 5 a.m. there, but the IRC Cloud app is really good, and it sends all your messages that were sent into the chat, like when you weren't there or you weren't logged in or the app was closed. When you open it, it shows you all the messages. So that echoes the messenger function, except it pushes them really like you open it and it's like, oh, okay, I can read everything, and messages don't jump around. You don't have little bobbles moving, and anyway, so it works. It works well, and it's free. There's after 5 days, there's an option where you can get like one more feature or something, but it doesn't cripple itself to the point where it's unusable. It's otherwise you just give them $5 a month, and you're just helping them pay their web server basically.
Sure.
Yeah, we can look more into it once we have a.
I've seen a lot of really shitty software. It's a really nicely written program. What it does is it interfaces with my server, and you can go to their website, or you can open the app for Android or iOS, and it connects to my server, and then it syncs up all the messages on my server and then displays them in a really easy, pretty format. And it makes using IRC not hard. So to me, that's worth $5 a month for a messaging app that's reliable, and we can even password the channel if you wanted to.
Can you hear me, Omar?
Okay.
Omar, can you hear me?
Cool. Thank you for telling us.
Dan, I wanted to ask you, isn't today some portal day, Saturn conjunction?
Want to ask me?
Yeah, you're.
I'm suspecting. Well, kind of looked into some things a little bit more, and the portal, the gateway opened during the Ring of Fire eclipse, but there was another gateway during this eclipse, and if we go by the Julian calendar, from the Julian calendar, the 12 days of Christmas start from the 1st onto the 13th. So,
The signal's not even bad right here. This is 2 bars is not bad signal. I've done plenty of shows.
Oz has been lit up. Australia has been lit up. So the rabbit could show Alice the way to the underworld, where they can open the gate. That's what I think the symbolism is. I don't know if it's literal or not, but
I found something on that. Am I still making audio or no?
yeah. What did you find, Gary?
Still making audio.
January 12th. January 12th. This is quick. January 12th. Energetic shift. Saturn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that Australia is on fire because Australia is Oz, Alice in Wonderland. So it's definitely not accidental. At least I don't think.
The I hate to be that objective guy, but there's so many things that we can go like this with, and the brain just loves doing that because that's how brains work. So
No, yeah, you can connect anything you want. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So after a while, I'm not sure anymore, and I just kind of sit here and enjoy myself.
Oh no, I'm skeptical myself. You're not alone. I think there's some kind of ritual taking place. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
Yeah.
Black magic ritual. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, sorry to interrupt. It's just I know it's a short meeting. So perfect example of what I'm talking about regarding interruptions.
Is that not timed correctly? It is on point.
8 to 11 at night. He's never done that before, and of course it has to be during a meeting when I'm trying to talk with you guys. It is just that is just another example of just interference for no good reason.
well, it sounds like one of your coworkers took money out of the cash register.
It was a nothing. Nothing happened. I mean, literally a nothing. But then these things want to interfere, and so why phone me? It was a nothing that happened.
So what did he want?
Oh, just to complain and shout about literally nothing, to take me away from this meeting.
Wait. That's illogical. He calls you at a weird
That's my
time.
point.
And just he said, hold on, no, please, just level with it. He says, hi, Samir, just wanted to call you about nothing.
No, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean. That's why I'm asking you. What did the man say?
Basically, we had a deal. I get paid a certain amount of money to do a certain job. I've done exactly that, precisely that, and he's complaining about it.
So what doesn't live up to his expectations?
Nothing. No, you don't seem to be understanding my point. The point is to interfere with this phone call.
That's what you want to see, but the man had something he wanted to bring up with you. So that's what my point is. Maybe we could talk about that.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. It's about nothing. Nothing happened.
Samir,
Literally.
Samir, can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
Samir,
Yeah?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you bring him over and explain what the interruption was about?
You're breaking up.
Can you bring
You're
him
doing
over?
the robot again, Gary.
Oh no.
I don't do the robot.
Hello?
Hold on.
They must be outside somewhere.
Can you bring him?
The meeting's about to end.
This is
Hello?
okay. This is our train wreck
Jakey
meeting.
is reading.
This is
reading over.
our train wreck meeting. Hopefully, it will improve from here on.
Can I bring him over to explain? No, he phoned from his house. It's 11:15 at night. He left 45 minutes ago. He's not even here. This is my point. Everything was fine. He leaves. He's at home for an hour. Phones, angry, complaining about nothing. Everything was fine. He left work. Everything's fine. You guys don't Remember I told you my research method works, but it kicks up a little bit of a storm. That's all. That's
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for watching that.
Let's go walk in the sunshine.
Hey, the sun is back
Let's go walk in the
again.
sunshine. I need it. Hopefully it's not the simulated sun.
Oh,
Well, I
my
think they come together at
goodness.
this point.
Okay, I think what are we on? Meeting 10?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
I need to verify. Go. Yep, weekly 10.